And welcome everybody to Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Markey.
It sounds like you're thinking about
I
it.
know. And my co-host.
I guess I'm
always,
here. I don't know.
Yeah, and with me as always.
I guess me, Charles.
We guess we're here. We don't know. Riding solo this week. No special
Steve's super
guest.
stoked to be here. He's half asleep.
Hey, it's my one time of the week I talk to my brother. So a lot of movies and stuff we caught up on. This I did anyways. A lot of crap. And then, of course, we're going to cover some sports and some weird wrestling tidbits I found this week.
A couple of them in the show notes are kind of captivating because we know, especially the first one, we noticed, we were like, this don't look like it's going right.
I like to go a little outside the box sometimes on the wrestling news, and this was one of them. So
hold on, let me pause before you get too far into some stuff. Did you watch any of the news conferences from video game stuff at all? Like there's
Stadia.
So the Stadia stuff, but then it looked like Microsoft stuff was coming up already.
That today, yeah.
Yeah, that's today, and
I
then
didn't watch
EA, it looked like it was today. So
we'll have to talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll have to tickle them with the feather and kind of do our EA E3 wrap up.
I've been loving all these sales and buying old crap games.
So I got
NBA 2K19 for $3.
That's well worth $3.
I mean, even if I played it for one day and never played it, it's less than a rental.
Yeah,
so I was
exactly.
like, I gotta get that.
Now, was this a digital copy or physical copy?
Xbox Live digital.
Okay,
$3, whatever. What else did I get? I got Dead or Alive 6, which I didn't. Did I put that on the show notes? I will talk about that today.
How big are the chicks' boobies?
There's only 4 huge titties, and then the rest are normal. $30. That was on sale. I almost got golf. I might go back golf.
What golf is
2K put a golf game out, Golf World Tour or something. It's not Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But it's only $20 right now.
Okay.
And I haven't bought a golf game in probably 10, 15 years.
They're like kicking field goals.
Yeah, I know.
Really
but it looked kind of fun to make yourself go out
and
of the course.
They like to microtransaction you a lot.
That'll be a bummer. I'm going to make Bob Maxwell and take him to the PGA Tour.
Oh, man.
I'll put the highlights on Facebook.
Deep, baby.
Yeah, so I might get the golf. And then I got Titan Quest. I don't even know why. It's an older game that got remade for PS4. It's like a Diablo-style game.
Okay.
I've just been itching for a Diablo-style game.
Okay.
It was $15. So I got to stay away from the sales. I keep
you bought all... I
bought 3 games.
But you're just peeping the digital stores.
No, the 2 of them were at
Physical
Best Buy.
media, Best Buy,
Yeah, but for under $50, I got 3 games. That'll probably, let's see, 30, 50. Yeah, under $50. So 3 games for $50, and I'm going to probably spend a month goofing around with them. I think it's worth the money. Yeah. So, and we do... That's another thing, too, I was going to talk to you about today. We signed up at Cinemark for the... Have you heard about this?
Do you go to the movies at Cinemark?
Sometimes. I prefer...
It's expensive.
Yeah, well, that's we signed up for the...
Movie Pass?
Movie Passing, which is like $10 a month.
And how much what's the details on that?
Okay, so now what... Imagine Canton and everyone now, when you buy your tickets online... They've all caught on, and they give you a $1.20 service charge. I don't know if you are aware of that.
Okay.
So if you buy them at the box office in person, they're not going to charge you, but all the tickets usually sold out when you go in person, especially on
especially you go to all the big movies, the Marvel
so,
movies and everything. Yeah.
So what the Movie Pass does for $10 a month, you get a free movie ticket every month, only one, but still, and then you get
at Cinemark. That's basically $10.
Yeah, and they waive all your online fees.
Okay.
So like a $5 ticket only going to cost me $5, not $6.50 like they do online.
Yeah, okay.
So that's nice. We save because we buy most of ours online. So I buy 3 tickets at a shot. So I'm saving $4 or $5 every time I buy my tickets.
In fees for the online.
So that's
fees.
Already half the fee for the thing, and I get the free other ticket. So that's the whole thing. And then you get
are the online fees the baggage fee equivalent?
Yeah, they're lame, and all the theaters
caught on.
Yeah, at first that wasn't happening, and Imagine Canton was still just $5, but now they do it too.
Is MJR the same way? Is MJR charging?
I don't know, but I know per ticket they cost more than most places. MJR. Unless you go to like the early bird at like 9
I was gonna say the early bird stuff is what a lot of people
and only people go to those are Mark and
gray
Dan.
hair. A lot of gray hair.
I went to one early bird for Godzilla, but that was it. So and then you also get 20% off all concessions. So in one weekend, I took. We're going to lead right into the reviews. I went and saw Secret Life of Pets 2 this weekend.
Yes, the Patton Oswalt vehicle.
Kevin, well, it was more of a Kevin Hart vehicle.
Oh, actually. Is it now? It's all the bunny now?
Mostly, yeah. And so it was me, Michelle, and Holly, and then we took Michelle's friend Bree. So Bree's ticket was free because I joined the club. And then so I saved $1.50 each on fees. And then, of course, Holly wants a Slurpee and whatever else. And we saved about another $6 on concessions. So it paid for itself in one trip to the movies.
Okay.
So basically, you're just paying for your online fees ahead of time. And you can cancel anytime.
How is the theater at Cinemark? Because I've never been. You're talking about the one in Southland.
Yeah, that's the one in Southland. Yeah. It's just like all the other ones. It's got recliners.
Because I do like an MJR theater right now. There's so much
try
room.
the Cinemark.
God.
You might like it. It's got the big black recliners.
Okay.
It's set up the same way as Can't Imagine and MJR and stuff. The only thing, MJR, and I know I'm big and fat or whatever, but MJR seats feel a little not quite as wide as Cinemark, and Can't Imagine has the widest. But they're replacing them all now with these new tan ones that aren't as wide.
Oh, they're probably packing in more seats.
They made them tan, and they got heaters in them now.
Yeah, but I bet you they're packing.
Who the hell wants heaters in the middle
Michelle.
of Yeah, I know.
They probably get like an extra seat a row or something.
Yeah. So they've shrunk down the size a little bit in Canton, where Cinemark,
they don't do that if there's not a ROI or whatever, the return on investment
kind of
on
stat
that
or
shit.
something. We could put 5 extra
Talking
seats.
about analytics. There it is.
So we did go see Secret Lives of Pets. Did you like the first one? Did you see the first one?
I enjoyed the first one, but, I can't watch it anymore. Louis C.K. exposes himself to ladies and no longer is allowed to watch.
Well, you didn't
Secret
actually
Life
see
of
Louis C.K. in the movie, but... Patton Oswalt takes over for him. And
he's Ratatouille as Max.
Yeah, well, the other funny thing is he also does narration through the movie. Okay. So it feels like you're watching an episode of the Goldbergs through some of it.
Okay.
But, I mean, same thing. The only thing they broke it into...
Are we onto another adventure, basically? Who disappears?
Well, here's what it is. No one disappears, but they break it into almost 3 individual stories. It felt like 3 separate movies.
So the groups of bandits go this way, that way.
Yeah.
And there's
so Max and what's the big dog's name? I already forgot.
Whatever. It's Eric Stone Street.
Yeah.
Duke, maybe?
Duke, that's it. So Max and Duke, they go out into the country. Okay, so their owner gets married and has a kid. So now Max is all about protecting the toddler. That's his job. Okay. And he's very nervous all the time now because he doesn't want the toddler ever to get hurt. So they go out into the country and have an adventure there. The rabbit now thinks he's a superhero because the little girl dresses him up like a superhero. And there's a new character. It's a Shih Tzu named Daisy. Ironic.
Oh, that's funny.
Much cuter than
Are
ours.
its legs bent?
No, its teeth stay in its mouth. Tiffany Haddish voices that one. Those two...
Can you not have any more? Can you not have Kevin Hart without Tiffany Haddish?
No.
Did Hollywood get together?
Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, and The Rock. All got to be the same movie at all times.
In a movie, does your head just melt at all 3?
Kevin Hart's got to be in a movie with her or him at all points.
What the heck? Dude?
Yeah, so He's
like the ultimate tag team.
They find out about a tiger in the circus is being abused, so they want to go save the tiger. That's their movie. And then the last movie is Gidget, the little fuzzy white one.
She's still back in the city?
Yeah. So her and the fat cat. Her job is to watch Max's ball, his favorite toy, while he's gone. And she ends up dropping it, and it falls into this crazy cat lady's house who has like hundreds of cats.
Okay.
So her movie is
get the ball back,
trained to be like a cat to sneak through and get the ball. So it's like 3 separate movies, and then all 3 storylines kind of tie in at the very end to save this tiger is what happens.
So... Is the disabled Magoo still in that?
He is, and he's got a great because they save the tiger, they don't know where to go, and they're like, oh, I forget his name, Gramps or Pops, one of the two. We'll leave it at Pop's house because his owner's never there. And Pops now is running like a daycare of all, but there's a puppy basset on there. Man. Charles might choke up on this one, but and then they got another.
They got a little Weeno too.
And they got a little fat. I think he's a pug named Pickles.
Oh,
and they did something, and I forget what it was. And Gramps looks at the rabbit because they left the tiger at the house, and the tiger destroyed the house.
Okay,
and they were cussing out the rabbit, and he goes, "You pissed off Pickles!" A little fat pug walks out all mad. It was pretty funny. It's it's got some laughs. It's fun.
As a former dog owner, I'll love it.
I mean, it's enjoyable. Harrison Ford's in it. He's like an old ornery farm dog that kind of shows Max that the kid doesn't need to be, constantly
he's Ferberizing the kid.
Yeah. And the best part is Max has got one of those cone of shames on, and then Harrison Ford just comes over and rips it off. I'm like, there, be a dog. So it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. Secret Life of Pets 2. I mean, it's not.
It sounds like if you like the first one,
you'll like this one. If
you have any affinity towards animals, you're gonna love it.
The 2 best Kevin Hart roles now for me is the Upside and him as that rabbit. He's perfect fit for that rabbit. That rabbit is funny as hell. Thinks he's a superhero. He's training, playing video games. He's trying to get ripped. He's trying to lift like a 3-pound dumbbell. He can't lift it. I like it. It's funny. I enjoyed it.
How packed was that theater for it?
Oh, it was sold out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And we went 2:30 on a Saturday. Yeah, it was
jammed up.
A lot of kids, a couple screamers. But it went well. Like I said, we got that movie pass, so that saved us some money. We enjoyed it. Now, the next one, goddamn Netflix. Rim of the World. Rim of the World, it's called. It's on Netflix. Amazing concept. Not amazing, but...
Is this the Hilary Swank one?
No.
What's that one? The Mother or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
Mother.
I Am Mother.
Yeah. I've seen that. I didn't watch it, but I've seen that one. I was like,
have to check that out for next week.
I heard about Rim of the World. Okay, Charles always rips on me. Charles is a Maddie Matheson fan.
Yeah.
I am a diehard Kevin Smith fan. I watch his podcast, Fat Man Beyond.
So this is a Kevin Smith vehicle?
No, he had a writer on there that also... he brings in writers and directors that he's friends with behind the scenes, and this writer wrote some episodes of Flash. He wrote Thor Ragnarok.
So the comic book ties Kevin Smith.
Yeah. So they had him on their interview, and he wrote this movie, Rim of the World. And he's a big fan, and so like me and you, of those '80s movies with like the Goonies or the one with Fred Savage or Monster Squad, where kids go on an adventure kind of thing. Okay. So that's what this movie is. These 4 kids go to a day camp.
So it's a band of kids on an adventure.
Yeah, and they go to a summer camp. And while they're at summer camp, an alien invasion happens.
Okay.
So they...
Does it have that like 80s nostalgia vibe to it?
Yeah, it's modern day,
Stranger
though.
Things is all in
Yeah. That's a good example, Stranger Things. This is 2019, though. It's not
set in the 80s.
No,
it's
current.
meant to be that kind of...
Yeah, and that's kind of... One of them's funny, one of them,
Yeah.
And it wasn't...
One of them brought the comb, dude.
Yeah, one's the rich black kid. He's like... His dad's a car dealer. He's really funny. And then there's a little Asian girl, and then there's a little ginger redheaded kid and a tall other kid. And they go on an adventure, and it's just... The problem was the execution. The story was there. The concept was there. Execution.
When you say execution, means the kids can't act, or the budget was bad.
The budget was bad.
Oh,
well, when I heard the interview from this guy, they only spent like 15 or 20 million to make this movie.
Okay.
On an alien invasion movie. So you can tell me how bad the CG aliens look.
Okay.
Surprisingly, there was a lot of the CG alien in the movie.
They didn't shy away. They didn't use camera trickery.
Did you ever watch that show Fallen Skies on TNT?
I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that level of CG. It was kind of like, and this is supposed. And Fallen Skies was a whole series, so I know why they cut corners. This is supposed to be a 2-hour blockbuster Netflix movie, and it was bad. That part was bad. Concept was there, everything was there.
I think that you have to use tricks if you're gonna go low budge for that kind of stuff. You got to use some kind of like director of photography magic to kind of give you this invasion backdrop, but like on the cheap. And it doesn't sound like they nailed it.
No, they didn't.
Oh.
And it had some cool music and soundtrack. Like the kids find like an old Mustang, they put in I forget what it is, NWA or something. They got like gangster rap, and they're driving them. And they're 14 and they're cruising up. So there's some charm there. It's just they needed to either up the budget or just rework it somehow. So, and that was the problem with the movie. And there are some really cheesy parts and coincidental parts, but that happens in those kid adventure movies.
Yeah.
So
the Goonies exactly wasn't Shakespeare and stuff like that is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I was hoping for
is
so
it
much
a band
better.
of 4 kids? How many kids?
4 kids.
Yeah, 4 kids. All right. They got the formula, to your point.
Yeah, they just missed the mark a little bit, which is too bad. I was hoping.
What's the name of it? Rim of the World?
Rim of the World. That's the name of the summer camp they go to.
Okay.
And
is anyone of note in it? I mean, you even recognize from like a TV show or nothing? Oh, wow.
Nobody I recognized.
Wow.
I couldn't, and even the parents, I couldn't tell you who they were. So it was all very low budget actors and everything. I feel like if it would have got a theatrical release with a real budget, it would have been
if someone would have threw
more
money at it, it would have been much better.
It would have been Steven Spielberg backed it or something. It would have been a really enjoyable movie. The way it is, I just Netflix got me again. Hoping for something. Now this next one's very interesting. You don't have Amazon, but man, I
will not watch Prime. They suck.
Yeah, well, they get occasional good things, and this is one of them. Actually, I enjoyed this. This is a documentary. It's an hour and a half long, maybe a little longer than it needs to be. Probably should only be about an hour. Katie Couric hosts it. Fed Up. It's about the obesity problem in the U.S.
Fittingly so, we're both on a podcast talking about it.
Yeah, I know, and and it just I've never blamed society or anything for why I'm fat. I know I'm fat. I eat a lot. I don't move enough. I know
food is delicious.
Food is delicious.
Yes.
But in this documentary, they really show you how crooked the politicians and how the food industry is.
So a lot of times in these expose type documentaries like this, they show you that you might have these feelings because you were actually preconditioned to having this feeling based on like an industry saying we need more people to enjoy this high fructose corn syrup is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, even they just straight lie.
Okay.
Back in the 70s, there was a report about food and stuff like that.
So hold on, before you get too deep into like one particular section, is the point of this documentary to say, hey, pay attention to what you consume?
Yes. If it comes in a box, just chuck it in the trash. I'm telling you right now, there's no point. If it's
is
in a
this
box,
an older documentary? Or is
no,
this
this
new
is
2019
rather
just
current,
came out?
but they cover all the different reports and major turning points in our government.
Like what led us to where we are, our
and
food
you'll see
system.
the government will come up with rules and bills and stuff that are trying to point to make us healthier, but then before those
lobbyists
bills,
and all
they
that
show
stuff.
up,
Yeah.
deal out
Break
that
you
cash.
out some cheddar, yeah.
A great example. So in the 80s, before 82, 83, somewhere in there, most school cafeterias had a full-blown kitchen staff that made their meals fresh.
Yeah.
I did not know this. Reagan wanted to cut $1 billion in the budget, cut all kitchen staff in
public schools
and made it private. So now you're
farm it out.
Yeah, and now your nugs come frozen.
Yeah.
All school mom does is heat them up, throw them on a tray.
Yeah,
that was the start of it all. And now because of that, there's a company in Minnesota. I can't remember the name.
Nonetheless,
they own 12 to 15 pizza.
Let's
places.
call them Hormel.
Yeah, no, that'll affect my stock. No. I forget that it's a pizza-based chain. They own 15 different chains, and all they do is supply pizzas to school cafeterias and stuff like that.
So Mama Joe's Pizza goes, yeah.
There was a bill coming out, I think it was in the 90s. They wanted to limit the amount of pizza and frozen processed food in the cafeterias.
Okay.
There was a Republican senator from Minnesota at the time, female no less, reported that pizza is actually a vegetable because of the tomato sauce on it. And they literally passed that.
Wow.
So pizza and that company could still keep supplying cafeterias.
Yeah.
That's just an example.
Yeah.
And then the sugar, and
the
we all know sugar.
fructose, yeah, fructose,
yeah, and that started in the 70s. They were trying to get rid of it
because
then.
So the government and again, I could be wrong. You just watched this, and me and you talked about documentaries earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Didn't the government subsidize the corn product that farmers are making? So then the government somehow had like an excess of this. Am I on to that? Is that right? Is that
the
what
government
you saw?
don't own the excess, but
no,
they,
but
they
somehow
subsidize
they
the companies that
subsidize
are making this corn.
and
Yes.
then now we figured out how to make sugar from
Yeah,
the corn,
yeah.
and that's where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they know about all of this. So for them to sit there and go, "There's an obesity problem," they know how to stop it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And this documentary lays it all out and shows you and so then it gets into the processed foods and stuff and sugar alone. Okay, so on a label you see sugar.
As a diabetic man,
yeah, I know. You see the word sugar, you know what sugar is. You see,
I'm aware of sugar. Yes.
Corn syrup.
Yeah.
You know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they showed on this documentary. There's 35 other words that represent the word sugar that are in ingredients
wow, really?
that you don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah, and they're all with tons of X's and Y's in them and stuff. So it only has this sugar, but then this other product, which is made from sugar, is also in there, but they don't have to record it.
Yeah, man. It's funny because like Heather and I had this conversation not too long ago at the grocery store. You're only supposed to buy your groceries at the perimeter of the store. You're not supposed to go up and down the aisles because that's where all the processed food is that you're talking about.
Well, now you know why the farm market trend is getting so big.
Yeah, because
like
people are getting hip to the 35 words of sugar.
The one that hit me in the gut the most with the sugar, they show different products and then they show how many tablespoons of sugar in it.
Okay.
Prego spaghetti sauce has a ton of sugar in it.
Yeah?
I never would have guessed that. I've never even looked at.
You get a lot of tomato sauces and they taste really sweet. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Prego's not really that sweet, and I was like, oh, that's because that's like my favorite spaghetti sauce. So that's why cornflakes, plain cornflakes, are loaded with sugar. You wouldn't think they are because they taste like ass.
Like, how is that even?
I
where are they hiding the sugar in that? I don't understand.
Well, they said what happened is in the 80s, there was that huge, no-fat trend. Everyone wants low-fat.
Yeah, low-fat.
So they were talking to this expert, and he's like, yeah, well, the industry knew that if everything went low-fat, it would all taste like cardboard ass. Nobody wants to eat it. So how they made it taste good and still be low fat? Sugar.
You joke, but so I told my doctor a year ago or something. I'm like, I only drink skim milk. I'm a crazy person. She goes, that's literally liquid sugar. She goes, there's no point.
They take the fat out and replace it with sugar.
Yeah, she's like, it is so. She's like, just go home and throw it out right now. She's like, there's no point. She's like, you're better off drinking right from a cow's boob than you are. And I'm like, well, I love my skim milk, but I'm like, I like sugar water. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and they cover that in the documentary, too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'd say Fed Up, Amazon Prime, if you get a chance, maybe on you. It's a little long. You get the gist after about 45, 50 minutes. Yeah. And it goes on for an hour and a half, and then there's like 15 minutes at the end. Do they tell you? Zone in on smoking.
Okay, well, I'm all for that. Zone in on smoking because you know my thought on smoking.
You watch the documentary for the food.
Yeah,
it's intriguing.
So let me ask the question of this though: do they tell you that as a consumer what you should do? Is there?
They don't.
Are they alluding to know where your food comes from? Basically?
Yes, yeah, and they showed a great example of almonds. So you eat a handful of almonds at 160 calories. Then you drink X amount of soda, that's 160 calories. Okay. So you're thinking, well, I'll trade down almonds for soda.
Right? Yeah.
The almonds have natural fiber in them, natural other things that are much better for your body, and your body digests them quicker.
So they're not those dead calories.
Yes,
where
the Coke will go in you. And then it'll make
eat
your body
your bones.
Yeah, and your body will pump insulin. The insulin will turn it into fat, where the almonds won't ever turn into fat.
Yeah.
So there's good calories and bad, and they lay that out.
Good fats, bad fats too. Because if someone yells at you like about an avocado, like for example, you can eat a whole avocado, which is high in some crazy form of fat. I'm not Wiggs. I don't know all the particulars of this. I'm trying to lose some weight right now, but and again, me and you talked earlier in the week. Sometimes in these documentaries, man, I love them. I believe everything they have to say. I drink the Kool-Aid.
I think you'd really enjoy this one.
Oh, man, I gotta check it out.
Michelle wasn't interested. She zones out on every documentary I put on. She just turns her tab on.
I love a documentary.
I go, this is how I learn.
I'm getting old. Yeah, I don't learn from books. I learn from videos.
Yeah, but it's good. It's very informative, and it really opens your eyes a little bit.
On Netflix called What the Health that's kind of in the same vein. That one talks about kind of how nutrition is also leading to a pharmaceutical or health care issues. So where that ties in, kind of similar to what you're saying. This one was a little more focused on just what you consume. The What the Health one is what you consume leads to a bad health care situation, kind of in the same vein.
But they vaguely covered that, with the diet. Now they interviewed Bill Clinton for the documentary. Mm-hmm. I mean,
what about like Michelle Obama? Didn't she have a big time reform in kids' lunches and stuff like that?
Yeah, but they kind of screwed her. So, ironically enough, a lot of schools did adapt to what Michelle Obama's program was trying to do. But then she met with this coalition. This is woman. And she has 15. She represented Nabisco, Coke, Pepsi.
Yeah.
Basically any kind of big food. And they agreed with her. Yeah, we're going to reduce things and we're going to do
Gotcha.
They did it. But at the same time, like the guy was talking, the amount they reduced, it was like one bite of something, really. So like they showed, for an example, a great one was the Oreos. So regular Oreos, you eat so many, it's 160 calories, and it's 3 tablespoons of sugar or something like that.
Okay.
The low-fat, good-for-you Oreos, 150 calories, it's still 3 tablespoons of sugar. So, you're reducing your calories, but everything's still...
It's back to the junk.
They just found ways to still screw it over. And so,
but here's the problem, to play devil's advocate, raising a 7-year-old, and Holly's turned 15, right? If you put low-fat, healthy food on, they're not going to touch it. Yeah, so it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's an ironic thing. We were talking about this the next day. Annapolis has followed a lot of this stuff. Holly, they cut a lot of stuff. You can't buy.
I think all schools have.
Yeah, really? Yes. Well, not all. Now, let's not go all. Because in that documentary, they showed almost 60% of schools have literally fast food inside them.
Oh, okay.
Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and some other.
Where are these schools and how can I attend?
I don't know. They have them in the cafeteria.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So let's not say all schools.
Well, I'm just saying, I know that Lorna's school is in the same vein, too. That's why I brought up the Michelle Obama thing, because I thought there was a big reform. Jamie Oliver was part of that, too, reforming in the UK. And
so it's great. I highly recommend it. That's probably the highlight of the week.
Fed Up on Amazon.
So Fed Up on Amazon. Check that out. Secret Life of Pets. If you want to laugh. Rim of the World Avoid. And Charles, you finished up the ever uplifting Chernobyl.
My God, it's still so Chernobyl, the final episode, the 5th part of that series aired on Monday. I beat the drum every week this show's on. You talk about like learning from Fed Up. I learned so much from Chernobyl. It's unbelievable. They go into like the trial in this last one, and then like the Lavazzo's guy, like the main, physicist who is, or the nuclear scientist who was, kind of helped them fix. He eventually tells them like, hey, look, it's because you cheap, terrible Russians in the West. They don't have these non-safe reactors. You know what I mean? And then like the Russian government like basically like bans him. Like goes after him and is like, no one will ever know of your science and all this kind of stuff. He ends up killing himself.
Jesus.
Man, that is one of the best miniseries I've ever watched.
Now, did you hear that Russia's pissed over that miniseries and they want to make their own? They're going to make their own miniseries.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be super accurate.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I mean,
Putin was up, no shirt.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Steve. If you have any access to anything HBO,
I do.
It is right fascinating, man.
I know it's fascinating stuff, but I know it's not uplifting. So I'm trying to. You got to be in that mood, and I'm trying to get to that mood.
It's so gripping though, because you're just like, it is the craziest thing. So like, it kept building and kept building, and then like, are they going to do it? And now because the show, I was just reading an article too. The show did so well. Chernobyl's actually like having tours of people where they take you to the sites that were in this docudrama and all this kind of stuff, and they're taking people around because apparently it's safe enough now to visit, not to live at. So like people are welcome to like tour these areas and stuff. Man, me and Heather just couldn't get enough of it, man. Chernobyl miniseries, that should win everything at the Emmys, man. It is that good, people.
Wow.
Fascinating show.
Chernobyl, and it's got the Skarsgård as one of the main.
Yeah, old boy from Good Will Hunting. Yeah.
He's
Professor Lambeau.
He plays one of the dark.
He plays the main Russian like government official guy that is very high up, and they bring in facts, and I get the reason why the Russian government doesn't like it.
It makes them look bad.
Yeah, it makes them look like, hey, we were worried about the impression we gave the world and not the reality. It's just, man, that Chernobyl series, folks, is a huge home run, man. And again, this is part 5, just aired. Should be available on HBO Go, HBO Now on demand. Start at episode 1, and man, just strap in because that show's fantastic, man. Super good.
So there you go, Chernobyl and Secret Life of Pets and Fed Up. Just avoid Rim of the World. So now Rim of the World got me a little down. I thought for sure it'd be good, but it wasn't. So I went back to Netflix.
This one looks bad. This is like a chick thing, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is the pre. So I've been building my model. I'm almost done with my patent tank.
Oh, okay.
So what I like to do is just stick something on
in the background.
Yeah. And there was no sports on yesterday.
It's getting real lean for sports, man. It's getting real
it's about
lean,
that time,
folks.
Now, I've always said this, and I like The Hangover, right? It's a great movie. It's hilarious, right? So I always wanted a female version of The Hangover, and I've almost had it with Bridesmaid, but then it got all emotional. Yeah. And then the same thing with Bad Moms. Bad Moms was pretty funny, and then all of a sudden we go, I'm a bad mom, and I got to get this kid. So for some reason, an all-female-based comedy always veers towards the drama at one point in the movie, where Hangover never did. It just stayed funny. So I'm always on the search.
Well, you could make the argument that the second and third didn't stay as funny as the first one. Yeah.
That's why I said Hangover, not Hangover 1 and 2. So I'm always on the search for that. And last night...
But let me ask the question, I guess, for me, is why? Like, you
I don't
just
know.
think there's enough funny ladies in the world?
Yes, there's a lot of... You got your Tiffany Haddish, you got your Tina Fey's, your Amy Poehler.
They shouldn't have a problem putting something together.
It should be a snap to make a really funny female comedy. Your Melissa McCarthy's and all them. But I never get it. I never get that funny movie from beginning to end that doesn't veer off with some kind of weird... And sure shit enough, Wine Country... It's like an SNL reunion. Have you seen the previous?
I know of it. Yeah,
Amy Poehler's in it. Tina Fey's in it. Maya Rudolph's in it. The other girl, I don't know if I forget her name. She was in that skit with the sweaty balls and Alec Baldwin. She was on Saturday Night Live all throughout the '90s. Tons of females in it that you would recognize, all from Saturday Night Live in the '90s. I thought, man,
who wrote it?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to assume one of them. Yeah. So I'm thinking, this has got to be funny as hell. It's all Saturday Night Live girls. And they're all funny. Really, the only one missing was Kristen Wiig, really, at this point. And I'm thinking, wow, this has got to be funny. And no. It's got moments. I'm going to say that. I don't regret watching the movie.
Rachel Dratch is who you're thinking of.
Yeah, is that the girl with the sweaty balls? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And who's the writer?
Anna Gastar's in it, too. Yeah.
Who's that?
You recognize her? She's another SNL alum.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tons of them. So,
didn't Tina Fey and Amy Poehler make a movie where they had like a house party too? And
and that guy.
I think you want to love these movies,
and they just can't because it's you know what it is. It's goddamn Park and Rec. Parks and Rec. She was funny, never super emo, and I enjoyed Parks and Recs. Yeah, Sisters. That was another one they did. They always have this weird. It's like an unwritten rule that any female comedy has to veer off into some form of drama before the movie ends. And I don't know why. I really don't.
I don't recognize the two writers.
Yeah, so I was hoping for something to... Now, if you are a middle-aged woman and you enjoy a good... What do they call them?
Coming of age.
Dramedy or dramedy.
So Under the Tuscan Sun.
There are a handful of funny scenes in it, but most of it is... Like Amy Poehler lost her job. It's her dealing with her losing her job. Maya Rudolph might have breast cancer. The other one, you know.
You won't watch Chernobyl, but you're going to watch that.
Well, I watched it under the assumption it was going to be a comedy. This is what happened. Middle-aged women might like it. I can tell you my daughter probably didn't like it. I didn't like it. Very disappointed. I was hoping Netflix got me again. 2 for 2. Netflix movie sucked. Wine Country. How can you have that many Saturday Night Live girls and just not be funny from beginning to end?
But I think, like you said, I think that Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, you want to like them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to love these two because of what you know them to be funny in.
Yeah.
It just never comes through.
No.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, the only thing that ever came through.
Yeah.
And I did like Tina Fey in that movie she did with Steve Carell, that date night movie. I don't know if you ever saw that. I thought that was okay. So that got me. So right after that, I was like, let's have just a women's live night. And I turned on Wanda Sykes. Not normal.
Yeah, Wanda Sykes is a funny chick when she's on a show. I don't think I've really watched her stand-up before.
Well...
Because she's on Blackish. She owns Stevens and Lido now.
Yeah, and she's a witty woman, and I always find her funny.
She's a big-time writer, too. She writes for a bunch of people, too.
My only problem with this was it started out with 35 minutes of just Trump jokes, which is... Trump jokes that you would probably hear like Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and all done
like bad late night. I told you she's like a writer for those.
Like the part where he had the toilet paper on his shoe. How long ago did that happen? And it's like, I know late night already roasted this so long. Yeah. So it's like 35 minutes of that, and then it goes into a little bit about racism right after that. And I was like, okay. The only one that does racism funny is still Dave Chappelle. He does hers was okay. It just was okay. I'll say it was better than the Ellen DeGeneres stand-up.
I didn't watch the Ellen one.
The Wanda Sykes one was better than hers, but it still wasn't all that. It was kind of not one of my favorite stand-ups from her.
How long? An hour, hour and a half?
Yeah, a little bit over an hour, like an hour and 10 minutes, somewhere in there. And she didn't mess around. I'd tell you, the Ray Romano stand-up was 3 times better than
Ray Romano was really funny. I thought it was really good.
This one was kind of a letdown. So I had 2 letdowns. These were both last night, by the way. I was like,
this is Netflix 0 for 3 for Steve for the week.
I can't wait for you guys keep telling me how awesome that place. I keep striking out. I keep giving them so many chances.
And we didn't talk. I don't see it on our show notes or whatever, but the Warner Brothers thing is really coming together. The Disney stuff and all. I don't know,
AT&T's going to have a service now.
That's what I'm saying. That's the Warner Brothers thing.
Geez.
Yeah, man. With an ad on bolt-on HBO and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. You got to keep coming with it. And so far, Stranger Things Season 3 is about the only thing on the horizon for people.
Orange is the New Black is ending.
Yeah.
A lot of their shows are
You got
ending.
Stranger Things Season 3, and that's about it.
All the Marvel's done. So
and now Hulu's got Handmaid's Tale comes out or is out right now or something like that. So it's an interesting time.
Amazon, I don't think ever was a major player, but they do have the Lord of the Rings coming. And probably in the second season of Jack Ryan.
I'm going to wait and see what I hear about the Lord of the Rings thing, because it's easy enough to jump in, jump out on Prime stuff, so I'll hold off on that.
Yeah. So that's it for the movies we had this week and TV shows. And I switched over. So last week, I had
You kind of talked about you were going to play these 2 games.
Yeah, I had some real turd sandwiches last week with that Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
I forget the
Total
other one.
War,
this week, I redeemed a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to say Battlefield 5 got a bad rap.
Came out late. It was a 2019 holiday 2019 game.
2018.
Right? 2018.
November.
Last
November.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
It got kind of swept under the rug. It did release right at the same time as Call of Duty and a couple other ones too. So the problem was the trailer for the game has like a handicapped woman. It had a black guy.
It was checking boxes.
And it's supposed to be World War II.
Yeah.
It looked more like a Michael Bay movie than it looked like World War II. And Battlefield and allegedly shooter guys are really, you got to keep it realistic, bro, or I'm not playing. So it kind of got swept under the rug. Now, here's the funny thing. Those are in there, but that's usually for the multiplayer, which I sometimes could care less about.
In a Battlefield game, that's all you get, though, right?
No, there's a single player.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the single player is broken into 4 separate campaigns, about 2 to 3 hours each. First one, you're a British guy who they recruited out of jail.
So this is set in World War II.
World War II.
They just left because they didn't have a World War I version.
Yes. 2 years ago was World War I. Now they're in World War II. I liked it. The first mission, like I said, you're a British guy. You got to go. There's bombers.
What is it doing different? I guess would be my first thing to ask you.
The last mission.
Why does this need to exist?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you my downside. So the first mission is them bombing. Second mission, you're in Norway. You're a girl who's trying to rescue your mother from a warehouse where they're making heavy water, which is used in atomic bombs.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. A little bit different, but not much. Third mission, you're an African French soldier, and you that one you're basic by the numbers one. The last mission is probably the most unique one.
What are you doing?
You're a German Tiger tank commander, and you're in Berlin as the Americans are invading to end the war. So
you're playing as Axis?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
So that was the coolest, most unique
That's
mission.
a twist, yeah.
Yeah. The other 3...
How does it look visually?
Oh, very nice. The Battlefields always look great.
Did you take it online at all?
A little bit. I played a couple, got smoked immediately.
Yeah. How big of a map and how big of a
Battlefield
game?
maps have always been bigger than Call of Duty maps.
Yeah.
And they have random vehicles you can jump in and stuff. So that I do enjoy, but at the same time, the game's been out so long.
Yeah, there's
you get sniped so
left.
quick.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't last long. I tell you, I might got 1 or 2 kills and about 35 deaths.
How many people per side in that game? I bet you.
You can have up to 64.
Yeah,
That's the bigger maps. You can do smaller 8-on-8s and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
is it Battle Royale based? Is it
I didn't
Fortnite closing in?
I didn't see that.
I didn't think you could have a game in 2019 that didn't have that.
I don't think that had it, but they just added some stuff this past week. But I only rented it, so I don't know the game. But I would say I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game for what it was. I maybe got a bad rap because it didn't follow historically some of the stuff that they were showing in the trailers, that's their marketing's problem. That wasn't the game itself. But then, like you were saying, there's a lot of parts where it's like, feels like been there, done that.
Yeah, I mean, World War II, man, I get it. You know what I mean?
That's why the only unique thing was when you were that Tiger tank commander near the end of the war, and you're just surrounded by Americans. That was kind of cool. The other 3, and there was a lot of missions where it's like just you versus the whole German army. It's it's like, dude, did no one else in this squad? It's like, God, this is getting a little
solo
annoying.
dolo.
Yeah. They do have some co-op missions and stuff. I obviously didn't have anybody to do that with. So that was kind of cool. But I like the game, so that one I give a thumbs up to. And now, of course, I was doing with the headset on, so World War II game and surround sounds so cool and stuff like that. So keep that in mind when I turned on Ace Combat 7.
Ace Combat 7, so I believe the last one I played is 4. Very anime-based. Visually, they look beautiful, though. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Well.
No? It kind of look kind of muddy or something?
Okay.
They do a good job with those games visually, usually, but
I don't know how they were when you played it.
So convoluted.
Yeah, first off, I didn't know it was fiction.
Yeah,
I thought it was based on some like real. And so
no, it's all just a pure anime story.
Yeah, with the weird anime characters, and they stop and they're printing out the text. I'm like,
they got text still in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that still.
It's some of it, but I think it's just subtitles. They are talking too, but there's no
animation.
No. It's almost like Metal Gear, where the little still picture comes up.
Yeah,
they start talking.
That's how 4 was.
Yeah, so like Charles said, it's got a weird. And here's the thing with the headset on, you're in a jet, right? So you want to hear the engines, you want to hear the missiles, the guns, but they got
stuff
this
whizzing past.
Yeah, but they got this weird anime music kicking in. It's just flying, and that kind of drowns out all the sound effects.
It brings you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, turn this music off. This is terrible.
Could you turn it off, dude?
I didn't. Actually, I should have looked. But and here's my other problem. So it's third person plane, so you're seeing the whole plane. Star Wars.
You should be able to change that.
I tried. I couldn't. I tried every button.
You
Nothing would
be able
change
to
it.
Just get up where it's like a reticle type thing. Or
Yeah. So I was hitting up, down, left, right. I was clicking the analogs. And nothing. It stayed in that same
what am I
view.
missing? Yeah.
And I didn't see a way to barrel roll either. I'm trying to barrel roll. Couldn't do that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And I never had that sense of speed. You know what I'm talking about? Like you're hitting thrusters. Things should be
when you get down towards like land, you should be
like,
whoa. I remember an Ace Combat game too. Basically, your enemies get pinged up, and then you got to go and take out targets. You got to go through and do escort type things. Totally the same type of missions.
Same things. I made it through. There's 20 missions. I made it through 5, and I was like, I'm done. And a lot of it, you want to say the graphics are good, but most of it's just little red boxes you're shooting. You don't.
Yeah, but when you get up close to them, to your point, when you get that sense of speed and get up right in there, it looks kind of like a Top Gun movie.
The only thing I have to compare it to is Star Wars Battlefront 2, which has starfighter fights. And that, when you hit a button, you feel the speed. There's a speed burst on TIE Fighter. Yeah. In this, I never felt that. And there's lacked for me, I'll be honest. I was expecting way more, especially since it's been so long since they had one. I'd rather play Star Wars Battlefront 2 and do the starfighters than play that. And I know Star Wars Battlefront, you can do barrel rolls, you can zoom the camera in and out, you can pick your.
You get that more sense of like pure freedom of an aircraft or something like that. So,
I can't recommend X Combat 7. I'm rented. Maybe crack through the 20 missions, but God, that anime story is so bad.
Yeah. It's very anime.
There's a sky elevator that goes to space.
I don't remember sky elevator.
Yeah, and that's why they went to war. It's so bad.
It's like warring factions in Japan back in the day.
And the other one I was going to tell you, I didn't put on the list, Dead or Alive 6. I got it on sale. This series is infamous with their boobs, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted another 3D fighter.
How does it look visually? Taking the boobs out of the equation, like visually, the rest of the game.
It looks like a beautiful anime
backgrounds and everything like that.
Yeah. It's all 3D, so it's and most of the backgrounds, you're in a lot of rings with electrified, like a wrestling ring with electrified ropes. There's a lot of those. There's like 3 of those. The characters look good. Everything. Lip syncing's terrible. I don't know if they did it because they have Chinese, Japanese, whatever. Like they'll talk, and then they'll finish this. It's off. But I think that's because they have so many different languages. So that's terrible.
Released in so many territories.
The story is god awful. I know you're going to say, well, fighting game stories. The Mortal Kombat and the Injustice stories are really good to play. They're like playing through
It sounds like to me, and I haven't played since Street Fighter V at this. The best fighting games right now are hands down the Mortal Kombat series.
Yeah.
Well, in the Injustice series.
They're almost
that
kind
of the same thing.
Yeah.
They're hands down. Everyone talks about the love of these fighting games.
Yeah, because there's so much. If you're a multiplayer guy or a single player guy, there's a lot for both of you to do. Yeah. That's why I like those.
Yeah.
And so
got a good value for what you're doing.
And Dead or Alive, it's a squirrely single player with like little chapters everywhere. And some chapters aren't even fights. It's just a weird anime cutscene, and I have no idea what the story is.
What was the last Street Fighter that came out that you said was kind of delivered broken?
It was Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, it was broken.
It was it's better now, but
it's fleshed out over the months, and then
it took them 3 years to get it to where it's supposed to be. So, yeah.
What are they mostly like prepping those for like tournament play, like the Evo stuff and all that? Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
The only thing I'm thinking when I'm playing Dead or Alive is how is this isn't merged with Tekken?
Well,
they should just make one big game with those two together.
There's a recenter Tekken that just came out.
Tekken 7.
Yeah, they're not that old.
Tekken 7 had nothing to do for single player. You went through like a couple things and that was it. And it's like you had to play online or play your buddy, and that was it. So Dead or Alive, it was $30 on sale. It's probably worth the 30, maybe 20. And you see some boobs, you see some crazy characters, and they got a ninja guy that's pretty cool and a biker guy.
Who wants to play a guy in a DOA game? What is this?
Oh, I did.
The titties.
The control
That's
setup.
all anyone comes to DOA for. What's his name? Itagaki is the guy who designs those games.
Yeah.
That guy in like the leather trench coat. Yeah.
The 4 main buttons are weird too. Like the A button's a grapple. The top button's punch.
Is it based off a grapple system? Is it like a wrestling game?
No. Yeah. Well, Y and B are punch and kick. A's grapple, and then X is block. So it's kind of weird. It's set up different than every other fighting game ever.
Did it translate well to the stick? How is it to pull off moves and stuff like that?
It's not hard, but there really is no moves to pull off. You just jack buttons, really.
Oh, really?
It's like Tekken. Like
you're juggling. Is it more of a juggle kind of thing, like where pop, hit you?
It's
with
more of like
lows
a combo type of like.
Okay, yeah. Send you off.
It's very
combo
yeah. Tekken, Soul Calibur / DOA. They're all kind of set up the same. There's no quarter circle punch or anything like that.
Did you take this mug online?
No, not yet.
I gotta
I own
how
this
fast
one.
you get smoked, son.
That's gonna be ridiculous.
Dude.
It's gonna be like, well, that
like
was pointless.
hardcore DOA guys are gonna smoke you in 10 seconds.
Well, I heard it's hard to find a game. Like a lot of people bailed on it, and for some reason, there's something about 6 that people don't like, but they still play the 5th one. I don't know
how that works.
I don't know what
people are particular about that. I mean, it was like that whole thing with like Smash Brothers, where people didn't get to the newest version because the old one. I don't know.
Yeah. So there you go. The little look at some games this week. Might have another one next week. But that's it for me. Now, Charles, you went to Walmart. Now, Walmart's making a big push with their site to store.
So, I've talked about on the podcast a few weeks now. I'm a huge site to store person. I think it's the future of like how to do a lot of like e-commerce and how these like brick and mortar stores can survive is basically like allowing me to get a product quickly. And I also like the fact that they can pull it, leave it at a register. I don't have to search around for it. It's just there for me. That all sounded good. So we were buying, this season we're going to put up a small pool for my daughter in the backyard again. So we were buying one of those heavy-ass Intex pools. And to get that delivered, as you know, usually costs you a small fortune when you get up in the 100-pound box and all this kind of stuff. So I did a site-to-store thing. So Walmart sent me actually a day earlier than it was supposed to be there. It was ready to go. So me and Lorna went up there. We went and we were like, let's go get the pool. So I walk in. They've completely changed how they do site to store at Walmart. There's this mega crazy vending machine thing as you walk in the door. Then there's all these like little like what look like Amazon lockers. Did you notice that when you did it too, Steve? Yeah, there's all these like Amazon lockers. And at first, I didn't even know how to like approach this thing. It looks like something straight out of like T3 or something like that. It's like Cyberdyne delivered this thing.
Well, I'm assuming if you bought something small like a game, and when you scanned your receipt, the locker pops
I'll tell you
open.
that. So, and I saw that. Okay, so you walk up to this. I mean, it's as tall as it's got to be 20 foot tall.
Orange too,
bright orange, marketed to death, right?
Yeah.
And I had the confirmation email. I didn't have the thing on my phone because I've had it where in the past where I've had like data issues when I've gone places. Have you ever run into that where like an e-ticket and you're like, I'd
much rather print it.
Yeah, so I was able to print it at work and had it in my possession, so I had the little barcode thing. You walk up, again, this is the most over-designed thing. I don't know what crazy company came up with this whole thing. This glass screen opens up. Then a little thing prompts you to scan your barcode. So I scan the barcode for my pool, and the thing says, oh, Charles, your order, da-da-da-da. Watch the monitor, and we'll let you know when your order's ready.
Yep, I went through all this. Yep.
Meanwhile, I walked past like 4 or 5 other people who were kind of meandering around and maybe waiting on stuff too. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll wait. I pull back. There's no monitor to tell me when my order's ready. There's no like 42-inch TV that says we're pulling this product or this, that, and the other. So I'm there, and by this time, there's like 5 or 6 of us, and we're all having issues. Like none of us, it's not working for any of us. It's just a complete nightmare. One of the chicks who's waiting with me gets like, she's got to go. Like, so she goes over to the customer service counter, is like, hey, I don't know what's going on with your site to store. I don't know what this fancy vending machine is, but it's not working. So then like this younger kid, and I remembered his name because I actually filled out a survey and went off on the kid on here, comes over and I go, hey, well, not whatever, but why do I got to deal with you when you got this big mega machine here? And he's like, well, if you just scanned I go, I did scan it. The thing told me to wait for you or wait for someone. I assumed you guys would be coming around the corner with my pool. And instead, you're looking like, what's your order number? What's your name? And I'm like, wait, I'm back at square one. Like, what is the point of the mega machine? If, you know what I mean?
I had this exact same experience.
So apparently, oversized items, such as my pool and a few things that other people were waiting on, are in like a stock room off to the front door.
Yep.
So you still got to get an associate. But my whole thing was the machine never prompted an associate that like we're waiting on you to give us our bigger, bulkier items. Yeah. Now, what I also saw was another guy was waiting and he rescanned his thing. The machine will spit out smaller things on a tray. Like a tray thing came out. He bought like 2 what looked like smaller tires, like almost like a wheelbarrow tire or something like that. And his shit just spit out of the machine. So the crazy machine, if you buy like a smaller item, will spit it out to you or tell you to grab it out of a locker. But it was just the worst experience. I used to go when it was back in the back and there was just like a regular register and I didn't have as much drama. I don't understand.
I always got screwed.
Okay.
with the back in the back.
Yeah. No one would be there.
No one would be there.
Yeah.
I had to go find someone, have them paid.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you often wonder why these brick and mortar stores are dying, but like, you know,
not to give him an excuse, but that one in Taylor is the worst customer service to begin with.
Yeah,
and
but
maybe the one in Canton might be a little better.
I don't know. That's the closest one to me. I don't know. But like my whole
the one on Ford Road in Southfield.
Oh, jeez. I don't have a permit to go there. You know, you're gonna put this fancy thing up and put this front and center of like your marketing campaign of like buy an item and come grab it, but then you don't staff it. So it's like it just made no sense. And you know, some bean counter somewhere like, well, we can eliminate staffing it because we've got Robo 2000 that will send you out.
But any item bigger than a shoebox,
can't come out on the platform. And I'm like,
at least you got a guy. Like I said, when I did it, I bought that office chair. 95-pound girl, 5'2" came out. I'm like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
So I had to go in the stockroom with her
and schlep it onto a
car. Schlep it out myself.
I mean, it's just like, come on, man.
Before they had the Robo 2000, back with Christmas time or around Black Friday when I bought that TV for my living room.
Okay,
I got mine at Walmart. It was on sale. The same difference. No one's around. I got this young girl, little white girl. I forget her name. Manager of some sort. I was like, okay, I'll go get your stuff. It was a big 55-inch TV, so those are big boxes.
Yeah.
She couldn't handle it. It was in that stock room. And she was one of those by the numbers people. So I'm like, you want me to go in there and just grab it for you?
No.
Oh, no, you're not an employee.
You can get hurt back
So then she's like, this is 30 minutes. She's trying to
get anyone. Yeah.
No one would come.
Yeah.
Eventually she gave up. Or just come in and grab it.
I was like, tried.
You could have saved 25 minutes of your life if you just let me grab it to begin with.
It's one of those things where I just don't know. And here's the problem, like with that pool, for example, I don't like to shop at Walmart. I really don't. But like at the end of the day, it was $150 cheaper than anywhere else.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do here, Steve? You know what I mean?
Walmart.
Like I got no choice at this point. It's just funny to me because I working at Marriott International now. You see just the corporate BS that so many of these corporations where it's like
all the stores with the self-checkout, we can cut cashiers with the self-checkout.
Oh, it's all just numbers and cents. It's all just like how
they're moneyballing their store.
Yeah, that's all they're doing. Jonah Hill's in the back going like, dude, we can cut 4.6 employees by putting the Robo 2000 in the corner. You know what
Meanwhile,
I mean?
you'll still have that one employee that's working like 85 hours a week.
Yeah,
you
doesn't
never
make
understood
any
that.
sense.
They're cutting jobs left and right. But
yeah,
then
dude, we've got cooks at the hotel, legit style, who haven't worked less than like 60 hours a week for like a decade.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, but the numbers say you're only supposed to have. It's like, what is
You're
this?
paying this one guy like overtime, like weekly.
It just makes no sense. And then like the best part about these Walmarts too is, like you said, good luck finding an employee who gives two shits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go out to like the shoe person, you're like, I got a site to store and there's no one. That's not my department, man.
Oh, were you around when I was trying to do all that converting of my movies?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Voodoo. So the deal was they had a thing you downloaded on your PC, and then you could put in the UPC of the Blu Ray you owned, and then you could buy the digital copy. This is for movies before they came with digital copies all the time. So I had a bunch. I collect a lot of movies. So I wanted to convert a lot of them to digital. So I had both of them. So whatever ones didn't scan at home, you could take to the store, to the video section. As long as they saw your copy, then you have an account online through your Vudu or whatever it is. They would acknowledge that movie.
You had a physical copy,
and they would go onto your account, and then you pay them $2 or whatever it was. Yeah. It was dirt cheap. So I could get like 10 Blu-rays converted to HD for $10 or whatever it was, $20, and it was a good deal. Because if you buy HD movies, they're like $20 a piece. Man, I took a stack in there, and these weren't hard. One was Indiana Jones, one was Star Wars.
These weren't off the beaten path.
No, these are big name movies. This girl had no clue. Oh, we don't do that. That was the best part. She told me there was literally a flyer on the counter that says convert your. I go, you don't?
Yeah.
Eventually, I just gave up and left. But so all these new programs and stuff they got, they don't train them properly. It's all a mess.
And then, like I said, like the dude to cop an attitude at me, and I'm like, it's telling me to watch a monitor, because I was thinking, like, remember Sears back in the day when you had like a big pickup? It would say like your order number like on a screen. Yeah. I'm me and
IKEA
Lona
does that.
Yeah, like you're looking for like order 1024 or something. There's nothing.
When did you transport that pool in?
In the back of the Honda.
It's that small?
You ever see those? They're all boxed up and everything. You just flip it
10
down.
billion pieces.
Yeah, so I got the pool home, but man, Robo 2000 is a nightmare and it's a joke. So I just figured I'd share that with people. And like I said, maybe if you buy so to your point, you go and buy Dead or Alive 6, it's probably just comes out of Robo 2000 and it makes sense. But then what it goes in the lockers, I don't know. I don't get it.
Something the next size up, I guess. So there you go. Look at some movies and stuff. Now, coming to an end is the playoffs.
Yeah, but exciting end, at least in the NBA. The NBA is very exciting. I can't speak. I haven't watched much NHL, but I've definitely checked out.
I've watched almost all the NHL games.
The Toronto stuff is exciting.
Yeah, and God, what were the odds? 1,500 to 1?
Yeah.
If you'd have dropped a couple $100 on Toronto, you'd be one rich man.
Yeah, it's all because KD's hurt. Now they're saying he might come back. I saw that article.
I heard he's not. He is. He isn't. I have a feeling he shut it down for free agency and said screw it. But 3-1. Toronto over Golden State right now. All the games have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Crowds have been in it.
It's intense. Yeah.
The next game's not till Monday, so
there's no game tonight.
There might be a hockey game tonight.
Okay,
I'm not sure, but I know for a fact the NBA game doesn't come back till Monday. But the hockey game, St. Louis on the verge of winning their first ever Stanley Cup. I'm surprised by this. I thought they would have won
today at 8
o'clock tonight. Boston, St. Louis, but St. Louis can win the series if they win this one. Big surprise, really. Yeah. Last game was controversial. There was a referee call. I'm not sure what it was. I can't remember what it was. But the Boston fans were crying a little bit about that one. The guy was in a crease or something. I forget what it was. And so, but they lost 2-1. I think it was the final on that one. So 3-2 on St. Louis. Toronto up 3-1. No one saw this coming.
No one did.
This is almost. I compare this to when the Pistons beat the hell out of the Lakers.
Do you think
no one thought the Lakers were going to get smoked by the Pistons?
But does this? So if Toronto goes on to win, does that win deserve an asterisk because KD got hurt?
No, it doesn't matter who won or who's hurt.
I'm just saying, is it
Toronto
is it a completely different series if Kevin Durant's out there?
Oh, probably.
But I would argue that, because I had this conversation with a guy at work, I would argue that it's almost unfair how many stars Golden State has at this point. I mean,
but they made them all except for KD.
Yeah,
they drafted most of those guys and signed them all. But so there you go.
You got Boogie Cousins and all that. They didn't make him.
So once this is over, we got no sports. Boogie Cousins, up until the series, Boogie Cousins done nothing all year. He's been hurt most of the year, so they just need him now because they got everybody else hurt.
And then do you think that Kawhi stays in Toronto? They were talking about this on the ticket.
That's an interesting question. I mean, he won a title there, or he might be I've always heard he's dying to go back to the West Coast. He's from L.A.
L.A., yeah, I've heard
it's either Clippers or Lakers he's going to go to.
He could be a king or a god in Toronto if he wins in the Raptors. Oh my god!
He's a free agent and he just won a title. He's gonna get a ton of money.
That's cabbage. It's cabbage.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of cabbage coming in.
Oh man.
So there you go. A little look at the end of the. Then we got got that lull. I guess you could watch some baseball.
You can watch that UFC, man.
Oh yeah,
and bare knuckle fighting on the.
Can't watch the wrestling. It's almost unwatchable. All right. Sometimes some rapid fire. Some of these, most of the movies we've covered in our summer preview. But this is coming out this week, the 14th, I believe it is, or the end, whatever the Friday is. The Dead Don't Die. Bill Murray and I always forget Kylo Ren's name.
Yeah, Kylo Ren. Yeah,
Adam Driver. Yeah, is a comedy / zombie movie. Critics have already been trashing it pretty bad. I will wait for Blu Ray, so I'm a no on The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah, that's a rental screaming to me. I watched the trailer if you and I talked before, and it does look kind of funny. But I question if it's got the Melissa McCarthy, everything funny's in the ad and stuff. So I'm gonna wait for sure.
Yeah. Men in Black International. I like Chris Hemsworth. I like Liam Neeson. I'm not hot on seeing this one. My kid might. I don't know. She didn't really like it. I'm a no for Men in Black International.
I'm a hard no.
No.
Yeah, wow. I don't want to see it. I think it also doesn't need to be it didn't need to be made. Yeah, I don't know.
Now this next one, Shaft, looks like they made it into a comedy more than an action. It's like an action comedy, I guess. I'm a no. I didn't go to the theater to see the original.
Hard no on Shaft too.
Yeah, I like Samuel Jackson, but
I love Sam Jackson, but this is
he's almost like a more talented acting Rock If you look at his list of movies, there's some really bad ones on there. He just takes the paycheck and runs. Him and Robert De Niro on The Rock.
Bills to pay.
Yeah. So coming on Blu-ray, it's either this week or next. Captain Marvel, which is the one with Brie Larson. I'm a no. I've already seen it. Don't need to see it again. Charles?
I'm a no. It's a Marvel movie. No.
Now, I had no desire to see this, but then once Raven came on and said...
Raven was like traumatized by it.
I have to see this now. The movie Us, directed by Jordan Peele. I'm going to see this, Us, Charles.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I watched Get Out, and I enjoyed it. And I like a different type of a viewpoint on a horror movie. So I'm a definite yes.
This next one is another bad horror movie. I don't know much about it. Under the Silver Lake. It looks like a low-budget horror movie. I'm out. I'm a no, Charles.
I'm a what? I didn't even know what this was before you told me it was a horror movie.
Yeah, that's how good that one is. And then finally, Wonder Park, the animated movie that came out. This looks like a Lorna trap if I've ever seen one. I'm a no, Charles.
I saw this in Toronto. It is terrible.
Oh, you've seen it already?
Yeah, we saw it one day when we were in Toronto goofing around, and it is awful.
Avoid.
The story in it is just dumb. It is so bad. No. If you got a little kid, you're screwed. But I'm telling you, no.
So coming to streaming this week, this one's interesting. This is called The Chef Show.
This is not interesting, and I'll tell you why.
Well, real quick, though, it's coming to Netflix and Hulu. It's not just...
Oh.
It's coming to multiple streaming. This is called The Chef Show with Jon Favreau.
This is Jon Favreau. He's obsessed ever since he did the one movie where he was a chef. So now he's like a weird chef groupie. This is so bad and so terrible. And
I just put it on here because I know you like cooking shows.
Yeah, typically I do, but then I watched the trailer for it, and I'm like, God, Jon Favreau, first of all, he looks like he ate a chef at this point. I'm all for
man likes
it.
some snacks.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely down. He's definitely a foodie because, but I'm just... It just looks so dumb.
He piles on a lot of his celebrity friends.
Yes, and he's a big name-dropping whore, and it just looks bad. I say no, and it's a Netflix show, and I'm saying no.
So no for both of us.
Now, this one was a little shocking. This must be the run out of the contract or something.
Jessica Jones, season 3, the final season. It's got rave reviews. I couldn't sit through the first 2 seasons, so I'm a no, believe it or not.
It's a Marvel show. I'm a definite no. I know people like it, though. I know people do.
Dig it. I tried.
What, is it set in the 50s or
No,
something?
it's current day.
Oh, I don't know.
She's like a former superhero that turned private eye, but doesn't like using her.
She likes to prefer the term private dick.
Oh,
just so you know.
I just hate superheroes that hate being superheroes. It's like that. It's the coolest
you got like
thing
the
on earth.
coolest lotto ticket. Yeah.
And she hates it and just drinks
just like, I just want to be normal. Whatever.
And then this new one, my wife's really into this. She's watching the first season currently. Second season of Big Little Lies on HBO Now and HBO regular. I'm a no. I don't like the show.
Heather loves this show.
Oh, she
Heather
does.
really loves this show. I would not touch it with a 40-foot pole. This is like Handmaid's Tale. No, thank you. I know they added Meryl Streep in this newest one. I don't know much about it. Don't care. Terrible show, but my wife likes it.
It's supposed to be some kind of murder mystery.
Apparently, that if you bleed monthly, you enjoy this. I don't.
Well, it's got that criteria that her and Michelle both like. It's based on a book.
It looks terrible. And she
anything based on a
watches
book
it. Heather
series,
gobbles it up, too.
My wife and your wife are both in.
They're both wrong. It's terrible.
Now we're going to go to video games. I'm surprised the E3 week we would have got some big video games, but not really. Video game sales, but no real release.
Yeah.
DLC for the last Assassin's Creed Odyssey called Fate of Atlantis. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not a big DLC guy for Assassin's Creed, so I'm a no. I played the regular game. I'm good.
We talked about this last week. I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy, so I don't know. I don't want to do the same pickpocketing thing. No, I'm good.
And MotoGP, this is a motorcycle extreme, dirt bike
I bet
racing.
you it looks beautiful, though.
It probably does.
It probably looks
It's
amazing.
probably fun rental. I probably wouldn't buy it, so I'm a no on MotoGP.
But I bet you it's like, it's probably way up its own ass. In other words, you probably just can't pick it up. It's not super hang-on.
It's super
you know
hard,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, you probably got to, feather
you
throttle.
can only accelerate so much.
And then you fly off. I bet you it's beautiful, but I'm a no.
Yeah. And then, because Charles loves re-release. This is a re-release.
Of Psychonauts for the 55th time? The Tim Schafer joint?
PS4, I believe, is coming out on.
It's been on, it was a PS2 game at this point.
Yeah. People love this guy in this. He has a cult following called Psychonauts.
Tim Schafer, man. People love it.
I didn't dig the game when it originally came out.
I never played it.
I didn't like the art style. I thought it was kind of quirky and a little funny, but I was out. I didn't even finish it. I only played for a couple hours. Psychonauts, PS4, I'm a no.
I'm a no. You could play it probably for $10 on 50 other consoles or whatever. I don't see what we're doing here. No, thanks.
So another re-release.
When you put that on there, I wondered if it was a new one or if it's the same thing.
Now, next week after E3, when we'll cover a little bit of E3, you'll probably have quite a few new games to mention, but we'll see. We'll see how most of them will probably move to the fall. Now, 3 minutes of wrestling. I took a little bit of a different detour here because there were some interesting facts that came out over the week. One, me and Charles and Bill watched the AEW pay-per-view.
Double or Nothing.
And we watched the Rhodes brothers. Now, going into this match, I thought, what a turd sandwich, but it ended up being very entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes had a long 20, 30-minute match. And during it, Dustin
Probably
Rhodes,
10 minutes in, he took a blade to his forehead.
He cut himself. And then in an interview recently, they were talking to Dustin Rhodes about the match, and he panicked himself that he thought he cut himself too deep.
Oh, my God.
And he thought he was going to pass out.
I believe it, man, because we joked, and you could check out the YouTube video of us talking about it.
Yeah.
He bled like crazy, dude.
He said he knew the certain spot to hit because his dad taught him years ago.
Holy, he did not hit that spot.
But he felt like he hit it too deep is what happened. But after 10 minutes, he said the passing out phase kind of wore off, and he just finished off the match. But it was a lot of blood.
Dude, he bled like
Even
crazy.
The guy bleeding was worried. So that just shows you that was a hell of a one.
Now, how did you come upon that? Was he talking on like a podcast?
Yeah. It was some interview. I wrote on the dirt sheets I read, for wrestling. Now, this past Friday, the WWE had a super showdown in some Saudi Arabia somewhere. I don't forget where, but
Abu Ghraib or something.
The main event was Goldberg versus The Undertaker. And now these guys are in their mid-50s.
Yeah.
Now, what I understand...
Goldberg's funny on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I like both
brother.
guys personally, but they both probably should just let it be. But I mean,
probably got paid a mint.
They pay a lot for these guys to go over and do these Saudi Arabia shows. What happened, from what I understand in the interviews I've read with Goldberg, he knocked himself out halfway through.
What do you mean, like unconscious?
He did, dazed and not knowing what's going on, almost like a concussion type deal.
Wow.
So at a certain point in the match, I didn't see the match, but at a certain point in the match, he went to spear Undertaker moves. He hits the turnbuckle, but then the metal brass part of the turnbuckle clocks him just right in the head. So from there, he's dazed, and this is the last 3 minutes of the match. So he was supposed to do Undertaker
spear or something.
Spear. He was supposed to do Undertaker's tombstone on Undertaker, but it fell apart.
Oh, man.
And so I guess there was like 3 or 4 reversals supposed to happen, and none of it happened. It all fell apart. So Undertaker just kind of did a choke slam real quick and did the pin.
Oh, geez.
So I didn't see the match personally, but I understand the whole ending.
Is it available on the WWE network or anything?
Yes, it is. I don't have it right now.
I was going to say you dipped out of it, right?
Yeah. So interesting. Old guys, little rusty, shockingly.
Wow.
And the end was totally screwed up. But I guess the pay-per-view went off. The 50-man battle royal in that pay-per-view.
50-man.
50-man. A local guy, a local wrestler, Saudi Arabian wrestler won it. I don't know his name. Now, this next one, Ric Flair's been having some issues lately, some health issues, everything else. Melinda Morris Zanoni, weird name, of Legacy Talent and Entertainment, allegedly embezzled $46,000 from Ric Flair.
How?
Remember he had that ESPN 30 for 30?
Yeah.
Most of the checks from that she took off with.
She just okay.
Or they cut checks for him. I forget the whole story. Something about it was like $15,000 up front or something like that, and she just took
something to do with the settlement of that 30 for 30.
Yeah, and she took the money and just never told Flair that that's how much they paid.
Oh,
so they paid like X amount.
How did they find out?
She only that they don't know. They haven't covered because they're still going through litigation.
Wow.
There's not a lot of details, but yeah, Ric Flair going through a lawsuit. His former manager embezzled. He got the
that's pretty crazy.
Got the Dane Cook treatment right there. Former manager costing him some money. So I thought that was some interesting notes. A little outside the box on some of that wrestling news this week. Charles, you bought a soundbar?
Yeah, so for the Hard Earned Reviews this week, we had an issue, ironically enough, watching the AEW pay-per-view where I had issues sending the video or the audio to BV and then I was able to hear it. So my solution was I could put a soundbar in and patch the mixing board through to the soundboard or through the soundbar. We don't have to wear headphones and all this kind of stuff. So I actually picked up, I have an LG TV in the studio that when we record, that I put the notes on and everything. So I got an LG soundbar. I don't really like it. It's it's $100. Yeah, it's $100.
Mostly the reviews you always tell us how good it is, and you're like, nah.
It's 160 watt LG 2.1 soundbar. Cost me $100 at Target. I did my site to store, picked it up there. Didn't have any drama. Robo 2000 didn't have to take care of me there. It just doesn't have enough punch to it. It's my usual thing. To me, and I always tell Steve this, if you're going to put any kind of sound stuff in a room, just get surround sound. At some point, just make the leap, tuck the wires the best you can, and get full-fledged surround sound. It works as far, but the problem is, on my TV, I can't tell how loud I'm making it. It just has like very generic like lights in the front. Does that make sense? Like I can't tell how close I am to maxing it out, and
right.
It'll work just fine for the purpose that we need it for, to splice that audio.
How come I don't see it?
So the nice part about it is it came with the hardware to mount it to the wall.
Oh, okay.
So it came with two brackets that will allow you to put it underneath a wall-mounted LCD flat screen. Yeah, it's got its own remote. It's got a wireless subwoofer that it comes with, so you don't have any actual physical connections between the soundbar and the subwoofer. It has no oomph, man. It's got no.
Well, for $100, you probably weren't going to get.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I would argue that if I was going to go to $200, I probably would have just bought surround sound at this point. So basically, it's like computer speakers is kind of what I'm using it as, and I would argue that there's some better computer speakers out there than these sound bars.
Yeah, Logitech has surround sound computer speakers.
Yeah, and I bet you they sound fantastic relative to this sound bar. I mean, I've got a set of 5 ones that I use as like my shop radio downstairs. It was super underwhelming, and the model's an SJ2 from Target, and I don't dig it. All it's doing is basically solidifying my thought on sound bars. I just don't like sound bars.
When Target sends you that email to rate this product 5 stars, are you giving it?
I would probably give it a 2.
Wow, 2 stars.
Yeah, because it does what I need it to do, but it's just like from a viewing. Like if this were in my living room, I'd rip it out immediately. Because it's back here and I use it kind of an auxiliary thing, and it just watches UFC and what we do back here as idiots.
Yeah.
It works perfect for that. But like other than that, like to put this in a living room, you'd be super disappointed with this thing in the living room. Like you'd be like, okay, like can you turn it up? No, it's maxed out. Like, dude, I don't know, man. It's just not a big fan of it. And to Steve's point, I only put $100. I only paid $100. I'm trying to figure out a way to send the audio to a Skype caller at the same time as we listen to it here. This does that purpose for us, and we're able to do that going forward. It's just from a soundbar standpoint, it's kind of a turd. That's my whole point. So not a fan.
So no on the LG soundbar from Target. Yeah. You may be saving money, but you won't be able to hear it. Yeah. Now, with the 135 seconds of MMA, this was more of a question to you because I saw an article.
Yeah.
He is now the highest paid.
Yeah, so
what is his name?
Habib Nurmagomedov. The reason why he's the highest paid is he beat Conor McGregor. So I often talk about it on this podcast when I do the MMA talks and all this kind of stuff. Conor McGregor is transcending UFC. He really is. So he's able to now create other stars just in his wake or in his pull. So he is. Because he beat Conor, it propels him into this next level. It's that crazy. So he's going to fight Dustin Poirier, who took over his belt while he got suspended for the big scuffle that happened after the Conor McGregor fight. So now they're going to go toe-to-toe. I got news for Dustin Poirier. He's going to vomit.
No.
Khabib's going to win. The dude's that good. He's been wrestling bears since he was like 2 years old. He's crazy. He's Russian. Like, there's nothing you can do. I mean, he's one of these things. I just watched Creed 2 the other day for the first time.
What'd you think?
I thought it was really good, but I'm so skewed. You can't ask me.
I liked it too.
It's a Rocky movie.
Did you think there's no way they'd be in the same weight class together?
I didn't give a shit. I love every minute of those movies.
Was a monster.
I don't care, Steve.
He's a good 40 pounds
Dude,
heavier.
Brigitte Nielsen was in it. It was fantastic. I mean, I am just the wrong person. I cannot
liked it when I saw it too.
I'm so not biased when it comes to anything Rocky. I'm wearing a Mickey shirt. No way, man. I just loved it. But it's back to the point point, he's like training his kid in the Ukraine, and he's got nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that to be the way that this is over there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because he lost, he got shoved into exile. Like, you're just done. It's funny. Crazy, but to the point he's now a huge star because he beat Connor, and that's basically what you're seeing the fruits of that. He's going to go on to win, and the UFC is going to have a hard time doing anything with it. Once he gets you down on the ground, son, there's an instinct that he has been bred with since he was like a little toddler doing this stuff that no one else has. It's crazy. So, it's interesting stuff. And then the other big thing, too, what is it? UFC 238 took place last night. My boy Cowboy lost to Tony Ferguson. I was kind of bummed. Your hero? Yeah, I liked Cowboy, man, but he ended up losing. I didn't actually see the fight, just what I was reporting. He got a TKO round 2. I'm assuming his corner might have stopped it. I didn't get the full details, but Cowboy went down to Tony Ferguson. A little bum there. And then little guys, Henry Cejudo won yet again over Marlon Moraes. No one cares. No one got knocked out, or someone did. No one cares. I don't know. And then the Shevchenko chick beat Jessica Eyes. She retains a belt. But Cowboy lost. I'm a little bummed.
Your boy went down.
Yeah, but nonetheless.
Did you see the highlights? And I'm not into boxing, but that big Mexican guy beat that.
I was talking about you last Anthony Joshua. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, pretty funny. He's a huge star now too because he was the great white hype or the great hype for this heavyweight boxing.
On his Instagram has been promoting the hell out of him because they keep calling him the Mexican Rocky.
Yeah, dude, it's great, man.
Rocky's in better shape.
Dude, you gotta love it. Anything Rocky is so good. And this is obviously the way latest review, but God, that movie's so something about when you can do any kind of like 80s type of montage. It gives me chills, and it will
in the sand out there in the desert.
It is so good, man. He put a tire in the middle of the ring and had them beat the piss out of each other with a foot in a tire. So good, so good movie. I am so skewed. You can't ask me.
I said my only complaint was there's no way those two would be the same weight class.
I don't give it. How shredded did Michael B. Jordan look, though, son? I was like, Jesus Christ.
Drago's son looked like a Terminator.
Oh my God, dude! How much HGH were both of those two on, dude? Because I was like, they're juicing for days. Super great movie. Any Rocky movies, any Rambo movies, any Arnold movies, I don't care. Give them to me all day. I just love them. It's something about being in the 80s and growing up the kids we did.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Rim of the World I was hoping would tugged at nostalgia.
Yeah, dude.
Didn't happen.
And Heather to this day gets pissed at me because I will refuse to watch Stranger Things. At this point, I will not watch it. And she gets so mad because she's like, it's like E.T. and Goonies. And I'm like, no, I'm not watching it. I'm not, no, just to piss her off now, I won't watch it.
Now it's a thing.
Yeah, but anyway, so go see Creed 2, and there was your UFC.
So in the news, big thing June 6th that me and Charles both are kind of lukewarm on. Google Stadia had their big press conference /video
they were getting out ahead of the E3 conference because they're getting into this space and they wanted people to know.
Yeah. So the Stadia, again, for people who hasn't
was
watched
supposed to be the Netflix of video games.
Yeah, so you pay X amount of dollars a month, you can stream any video game you want on any device. Well, none of that is exactly true. Yeah. First off, it's not any device. It's only on Pixel phones right now. Pretty much any tablet or computer, and then you can do it on your TV, but you need a Google Chromecast.
Yeah, and they're selling it as a bundle.
Yeah, so there's a lot more restrictions. First off, than they ever. Now I put in the notes because I thought it was funny. While I was watching their live stream, I kept getting buffering and stuttering.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, wait, I can't even watch their feed.
That's indicative of what you got going on.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. The only real new game that was announced was the Baldur's Gate 3. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon.
The Destiny 2 stuff the Destiny stuff was supposed to be a big deal too. I don't know much about that.
But Destiny 2's all those games have been out or been announced already for other systems except for Baldur's Gate.
Well, I think the Destiny 2 is allowing you to move your player within the platform,
which is smart. So if I got a level 20 Destiny's character on PS4.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So you need, like you said, so the Chromecast, so they're selling a Founders Bundle.
Yep.
So what this is going to give you is the Ultra Chromecast, as Steve talked about, a pretty decent controller. The controller's decent. Yeah, the controller's legit. And it's going to give you 3 months of the service. and then 3 months to give to a friend. So, for example, I could buy it and give Steve 3 months to give to a friend. Obviously, they're trying to get hooks into Steve and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
For $129. Now, with that...
Is a copy of Destiny 2.
Is a copy of Destiny's 2. A copy. Now, to me, Steve and I talked about this kind of at length this week. I shouldn't need a copy of anything because your games are supposed to be available to me and Steve on your service. Apparently,
that's not the case.
That is not going to be the case.
And we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. We assumed it was going to be Netflix where all the games are there. You pay X amount a month, you get access to all of them. But what in reality happened, because we were wondering how game developers are going to want to go into this.
What's my cut?
How they're going to get their money. So apparently, it's more like Xbox Live. Yeah.
It's a platform.
So you're paying $10 a month. Then on top of that, so if you're a big Madden fan, let's say, and you want Madden on your Google Stadia, you pay your $10 a month for your Google. Then you pay another $60 for the Madden
to get the rights to play the game within the Stadia.
And also, if you quit playing Google Stadia and cancel your subscription.
That $60 game is in the ether. You have nothing.
Well, I take that back. They do have a free version
that's coming out delayed wise. It's not coming out day and date with the founder.
So version. that's one thing I want to know. So if I have Google Stadia Pro,
and then it's also nerfed. You can't get 4K games. You can only get the 1080p.
Yeah, depending on the price and the levels.
There's a lot of stuff. I am super bummed that it's basically being framed as a platform.
Yeah.
So in other words, instead of buying that Madden game on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox 2 or whatever they're calling the next platform, you'd buy it on Stadia. In theory, I could play it on my PC streaming-wise, and then I could swap it over to my phone and continue to play it. Mm-hmm. That all sounds great, but I don't want to have to buy Madden at $60 per. I think that's BS.
I think they're going to have a batch of free games, but they're going to be...
There's only so many times I can play Rocksteady's Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, it's going to be Arkham Asylum. What's that, Overcooked or one that one to give... Basically,
Overwatch?
No, there's one with a little cooking game.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's going to be a lot of like mobile quick games. I don't
this whole thing, I'm super excited about the tech because I do think that the future of video games gets you away from having to chase hardware. Chasing hardware is not the future of video games. The future of video games is getting someone the ability to play it anywhere. The problem is Fortnite is free initially. You don't have to technically pay for Fortnite. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
So I can play that in any way, and then it's only as much money as I want to put into it. To have to buy the Madden is missing the mark. It just doesn't add up to me. I'm super annoyed with it, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's like if you had Netflix and then you want to watch Captain Marvel, but you got to pay an extra $20
for the Marvel. Yeah, you got to buy the Blu Ray copy of Captain Marvel
to watch on Netflix.
To watch on your Netflix.
It's the whole purpose.
That's the best analogy, and that's exactly it. And it's like, wait,
so
what?
Stupid.
I can already do. So that's like iTunes, basically. Do you buy your movies on iTunes or anything like that?
Not usually, no.
So, but that's what they're asking you to do, right? I mean, that's basically what they're telling you to do is to buy, like, the new Captain Marvel coming out. Who does that? Do people actually do that?
What do you mean?
You can buy a digital copy like on iTunes, and then for like $20, like you said, and then like have it on your iOS devices. Who does that though? I don't know anyone who does that.
I occasionally buy a digital movie,
like a $20 so instead of buying the Blu Ray. So here it is, like you said, Captain Marvel's coming out on Blu Ray this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure right now I could go onto my TV OS, iOS, Apple TV, and purchase it for $20.
A lot of people do.
Who? That is the dumbest person I've ever met. Because you could just take your to Family Video for $3 or Redbox for $3, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you don't own it.
Yeah, but you don't own it there. You know what I mean? You have a license to watch it within the iOS.
Yeah, I don't. People do though.
So what you're saying is the Stadia thing's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
who's going to do this? But you're saying I might be crazy. Maybe I'm just nuts.
No, I don't like the fact that you got to pay for the game separately. I think just killed it for a lot of people. I really do. The streaming, everyone's questioning, but if it worked fine, then everyone would have been down.
If it was kind of hiccupy and then whatever, but like, dude, I get like all these games. You know what I mean?
Like you'd put up with the annoyances if I had a 100-game library to pick from.
If I could jump from Mortal Kombat 11 to over here and play DOA 6.
If I could play every fighting game released in the last 10 years for $10 a month.
If it hiccups.
Sure, it could hiccup. It's fine. I'll play them. But
let me ask the question then too. So let me ask a hypothetical question. What if they go to $20 and every game's available?
Then I'd have to see how the connection is.
So then it comes down to
performance. Then I'm testing it. Then I'll buy a couple months just to see how good it is. If it's $10 a month,
now we're in.
We're in. You know, or $20 a month. You buy 2 months, check it out, see how it works. If it doesn't work good,
if it gets its hooks in you, you're good to go.
Yeah. And then, but the way it is now, no thanks.
I like that controller. That controller doesn't jump away from like an Xbox controller. And all that kind of very stuff. Close. Solid controller.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So next week we'll break down. We're gonna have a lot of E3 coverage. We're gonna obviously, like Steve said, we're gonna look into some of the Microsoft stuff and the EA stuff that came out today.
Project xCloud will be a big sticking point. I forgot all about that stuff was out today. I have to check that out. Also in the news for the movies, the last X-Men movie. It's funny. Charles was saying how fantastic they were. They totally tanked.
Yeah, wow.
I'll probably still end up seeing it because I do like superheroes and X-Men and stuff like that.
I like the Dark Phoenix stuff too.
The problem was The Last Stand was just made 10 years ago, roughly 10 years ago, and that's the same storyline. You know
okay.
Right? The Dark Phoenix stuff is in the X-Men The Last Stand. A lot of people didn't like that. So then they flash forward here, and they're doing the same kind of storyline with the same characters.
Been there, done that kind of thing.
And everyone's hot for them to go over to Disney. This is the last Fox one. So they had everything working against them. A couple people I know saw it, did enjoy it. So
I was going to ask, so when you say tanked, is it tanked in the realm of Marvel movies, or is it tanked like tanked period?
It tanked like it's going to probably finish 3rd or 4th this weekend.
Wow, from a Marvel movie, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, those are cash cows, and it's going to probably finish behind Secret Life of Pets and what was the other movie?
John Wick.
No. Not Godzilla. There's another.
Definitely not Godzilla.
3 movies came out this weekend, and that they're predicting that one is going to be the 3rd one that comes in. So that's not very good, especially for a summer comic book movie. Yeah, a little rough. Now I saw this at Family Video too, and the only thing Charles, tell us what Family Video is selling.
So this is weird. So I just went and rented Creed 2, like we talked about, and they have a big advertisement at the Family Video that we both go to that CBD oil is available at a Family Video.
It's at 2 locations too. I have 2 Family Video accounts.
You kind of bounce back and forth.
Yeah, it's at both.
And so they're corporate wide. Apparently, corporate Family Video is like, we're in the CBD oil business. I listen to The Fighter and the Kid. I enjoy that podcast. It's very entertaining. I don't get I think that CBD oil is the new snake oil. I really do.
What is Fighter and the Kid?
It's got Brian Callen, or Coach from Goldberg's, and a guy named Brandon Schaub on it. It's an entertaining podcast. It's kind of a Joe Rogan tangent-y podcast. It's pretty good. Anyway, they're always talking about pure spectrum CBD oil on it and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, I'm so tired of hearing about. We get it. Like, everyone, weed is amazing. I get it. Oh my god,
you can make clothes. You can make ropes.
Dude, I'm sure Woody Harrelson. Everything is amazing. Joe Rogan's
he was at the last hockey game.
Okay,
they just showed a camera. Him and Michael J. Fox were there.
Was
watching.
He high?
Couldn't tell.
I'm just everything is CBD oil. Everything's CBD oil. All my kids got diarrhea. Give them CBD oil. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this weird cure-all. And I'm sure someone right now is shaking their fists at me. I'm like, my kid had seizures until I just don't believe it. I'm be honest with you. And the fact that, like I said, a video store, who is like, Steve, I got to go get some more CBD oil. Go to Family Video and pick some up.
Well, it's funny you mention this, because when I saw it at Family Video, I was like, can we get high at Family Video? So I went home and researched it.
It has no THC in it.
Yeah, they take the stuff that gets you high out of the oil.
Yeah.
So the one benefit you want. So I don't know.
Steve wants to get blitzed on some.
I mean, if I'm going to do it, I might as well get it high.
So that's how they're saying it's one of the medical offshoots of the weed industry, or I don't even know if you can call it weed industry at this point, but like, so they remove the THC or that strain or whatever it is that gets you high. and then this is just pure medical benefits, Steve. You'll drop 78 pounds and you'll
be able to sleep better.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like it's just a modern day snake oil at some point. Like it's just like, and the other thing too is
rub it on your balls, look at hair.
Oh my God, just the hairiest nutsack because of my CBD oil. I don't know, and again, I'm sure someone out there is like, Charles doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot. Why do I listen to these two? I just don't see it. I don't see it as being like this medical cure-all, and it's just complete snake oil to me. I don't know. The only thing I keep forgetting, did you ask the price? I haven't asked the price. I don't know. Let's do
I don't know how much
you're
selling.
What's the CBD oil going for?
So if you're going to buy a bottle of CBD oil, how much do you think you're paying?
It's
got to be 20, right? I'm guessing
there's no
20.
FDA stuff attached to this right now. So it's like weird, like, remember like 90s supplements when you and Bert are doing like Yohimbe bark and all that kind of stuff?
No, there was no you and Bert. Bert was doing Yohimbe bark.
I'm just saying there's like no FDA attachment to this, and it's just... It's really Wild Westy.
It's just like Gwyneth Paltrow with her health video.
With the eggs up her cooch and all that.
I mean, she's holding rocks in her crotch. I mean, come on.
I don't know, man.
I mean, people that believe this shit sometimes.
But then again, family video is a weird thing, and it just goes to show you there's probably not a lot of money to be made in the rental business anymore. I'm sure Randy could tell me differently, but like...
No, he agrees. That's why he got out.
Yeah, so they have like the weird cell phone thing in there now, too. Like they're doing CBD oils, cell phones.
Why they're lasting longer?
No.
Did I tell you this? I don't know why I know this. I read a couple articles.
Well, you get the insider delivered to VR Metro because of Randy.
Well, what happened was we were talking about it. Might have been talking about Facebook or family video and stuff like that. The reason why they've lasted so long where Blockbuster hasn't, Blockbuster, when they built their buildings, always leased. All the family video own. They own all their real estate.
Okay.
So
that's a big thing. They talked on that in The Founder with Ray Kroc.
Yes.
So McDonald's
they learned from McDonald's.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also, if you notice, not the ones around here, but a lot of, I guess, outside of Michigan or further out, a lot of family videos have pizza joints in them. Marco's, like there's a big contract with Marco's.
Okay.
So what they do is they cut their store in half, make it a smaller store, and they rent half. So that's free
pizza
money.
And videos.
Yeah.
So now we're leasing space to Marco's. We got income coming.
Yeah. So they always thought that videos and pizza went together. So I guess a lot of locations have the. Now, with that being said, there's 2 locations by Bert that closed, so I don't know how well they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I tell you this, though. So I've gone twice. I've rented the Creed, and then we got Lorna movie, and then I rented a couple. We started to watch How to Train Your Dragon movies. We were picking those up.
Catching all of them.
Yeah, so, but both times I was in there, there's a handful of people in them, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, one on Equor is always busy. Go there on Friday night. It's like the Walmart of video stores.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Some crazy people in there.
But to your point, maybe that's how they're staying alive, is that CBD oil, the cell phone store, and Marco's Pizza. I don't know, man, but it's...
And they don't have to pay rent, so that helps too.
Yeah.
So.
And again, the movie The Founder talked about that. McDonald's is like one of the highest landowners. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Yeah. I don't know if that's because we worked there at some point in our lives or what it is, but fantastic movie. And they talked about how McDonald's always owned the land and then leased it back to the franchisees and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Making that cash.
Yeah, they're not stupid, man.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we're going to have a lot of E3 coverage, like Charles mentioned. A lot of video game
Maybe
stuff.
we can get Christopher or something like that, and because aren't they around next week?
Yeah, I don't know when they're headed back to Kentucky, but I'll bring his.
Maybe we'll do a little early or something to have.
Obviously, can't do it Saturday.
No, but like early Sunday morning or something. Maybe we can have Christopher and Marion or something on.
Yeah, we'll bring them in and have them talk.
Yeah.
So until next week, you can catch us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you hear
getting
iPads.
that CBD oil.
And get you some CBD oil and a Marco's Pizza and some movies and a cell phone. I don't know why ours is selling cell phones. So that is kind of weird. Okay, so we'll catch you later on Fat Guys on a Little Podcast.